What is up, survivors? Today we're going to be talking about Jurassic Park. Yep, it's true. We're finally going to go over the Jurassic Park mod expansion. Now, these are just some of the creatures, and we're going to talk about those little guys here in a second, but this is a huge mod, and so far really fun. So, the Jurassic Park mod adds a lot of creatures, about well over 100 different creatures into the current ARK universe. Now, some of these are like direct replacements, some of them are brand new additions, but all of which coming from Jurassic Park, whether it be from the movies, literature, so forth. It's usually all of them come from some sort of influence from there. There's multiple species of some of these too, especially with like raptors and things like that, but we'll talk about it. You're going to see different flyers, you're going to see different amphibious life, you're going to see different water creatures, you're going to see different land creatures, and you're also going to see world bosses just wandering around in the open world. It gets pretty serious. The vanilla, so the standard creatures for Jurassic Park are significantly tougher than their counterparts, but the world bosses are basically the equivalent of ARK bosses, so they're very tough and very hard to take down. So there's a lot to go over, and I usually try to make mod reviews and in general videos a little bit shorter. I'd hate to have like an hour-long review unless there's some other questions about the mod or something else that we specifically want to see in depth done with the mod, and if that's the case, feel free to leave a comment and let me know, and we'll expand on that. But we're going to go over the general basics, a few key things to take away, some of the items, and yeah, just talk about the ins and outs of it. So, as you notice, this armor is a little bit different. We can talk about that first. So this is the Merc gear. It's a whole set of armor, not including the awesome helmet, by the way. But it's a full set of gear, and we'll talk about that. And so it kind of looks like ghillie. When you craft it, the piece looks like ghillie or sometimes desert armor. Basically, it's kind of like a hot weather gear. Not so much a cold weather gear, definitely like a warm weather, mid-grade gear. It kind of works as ghillie armor as well, so you still get like the benefits of being ghillied up without the look of being ghillied up. We also have the Jaypee workers helmet. So far I can't really see anything that this does other than give you armor. That's really it. I don't really see a difference with it. It's going to be on your person in the armor section. I have GCM modes on, so all of this is actually open to me right now, but it'll be on your person in the armor section. And these are all made with, polymer and some other things too, but organic polymer works as well. Now, the weird thing about this is I'm sure this will probably get fixed maybe. The gloves don't show up in the bottom here all by their lonesome. You actually have to go into the desert cloth and they show up in there. So if you want the full set, that's how you're going to get it. So let's talk about some of the two structures that you're going to use before we get into the creatures over here. So you're going to have a fabrication station, which you will craft on your person, and it looks just like a smithy, so you'll notice you'll have two smithy looking things in your Ingrams, and the InGen fabrication station is what we're looking for. So here you're going to have three separate folders. One is for the infrared binoculars, and we'll go over that. Two is to create the building, the other structure that I'll show you, and that's the hybrid creation station. And then in your weapons section, you'll be able to craft some different armor, the different attachment, and some other cool guns and features, and we're going to go over all of those while we're here. The hybrid creation station, and we're going to actually try one of these here in a few minutes, but essentially you can kill Jurassic Park creatures. If you kill them out in the wild on the map, because they'll just spawn out there by themselves, they'll drop genomes, and depending on the creature, you'll get DNA specifically for that creature, but then you'll get basic dinosaur genomes, and you want to have those and gasoline inside this fabricator, and it allows you to craft these clones that basically you would go out and summon it, and the wild version of whatever that is will just pop in. So we're probably going to try the blue raptor clone later just to see how that works, but yeah, so this thing is not cheap to make either. It's very expensive to make, so this is definitely more of a mid to late game sort of thing, I think. I mean, depending on what your settings are set to. Let's go over some of the Jurassic Park staples, right? And that's these two here. So basically I have a set of raptors and a set of T-Rexes. They're all level 1s because we can actually look at their stats a little bit as well. So let's start with the raptors. Now these are a couple of the different raptors that you're going to find out here. Now this is your typical normal ARK raptor. This guy is sitting at 200 health, 150 stamina, and this is a level 1. So this is after the TLC mod. They added the feathers to it, and I mean, it's a good looking sculpt. I had no complaints when this guy first came out, but you can definitely see if we go to the Isla the Isla Sorna Velociraptor, and you have the Isla Sorna and the Isla Nublar. It really just comes from different parts of the Jurassic Park universe. That's really the only discerning difference. And I've noticed color differences between the two, but it looks like the Sorna is slightly bigger, not by a whole lot. But they do have different abilities too. That's another thing to note. Every single one of these creatures out here has different abilities too, not what you would normally expect. But the stats on these guys are a little bit higher too. So this is what I'm saying. Health's up, the stamina's up. Melee's at 164. So melee's actually a little bit lower considering it's a level 1. But the health and stamina are up. Now these guys actually get a bleed effect, but it doesn't seem like it really bleeds you very much as damage-wise as it slows you down considerably. And there'll be bigger packs of these. So we're used to seeing raptors here in like, 3 of them in a pack, 2 of them running around together. These suckers will be in like, I've seen them as 5 and 6 deep running around. So, and they have the considerable, the audible, you can hear them barking every now and then is considerably different. Let's see if we can level 1 up just to get a noise. Yeah, a little bark. Yeah, totally different than what we're normally seeing. And the Isla Nublar. In general, the sculpts are pretty much the same. I mean, I think there's a slight physical difference. And like I said, the Sorna seems maybe a little bit different, but it could also be he's actually sitting a little bit higher. So they very well could be. Actually, yeah, they're probably about the same size, actually. But awesome looking sculpts, man. Look at the detail in this. It's amazing. It's really good. Stop looking at me so I can look at you. Stop doing that. I wanna. Ooh, look at that face. But yeah, I mean, man, and this is the type of stuff that you're gonna see in every single one. Actually, there's an eyeball difference. Look at that eyeball. Yeah, so there is like little subtle differences between the two. Very subtle. The crest of the head, like you have the tiny couple of feathers sticking out the top of the head, and you got none on him. Yeah, there's definitely subtle differences with between the two of these. But the sculpts are beautiful. And these take regular raptor saddles to put on here. Now, some creatures, and we're going to leave a link to the workshop in the comments of this video. Some of these creatures actually need different saddles to make. They have their own unique saddles. But then some other ones use pre-existing ARC saddles. And it's a really good idea to check this cheat sheet that's on the first page of their workshop. It's a quick link. It's like a spreadsheet where you can see what animals use which saddles, and it's incredibly helpful so you don't get too frustrated with it. But yeah, so the last one we got down here is the Indo Raptor, and this guy is a big dude. Now these all have different abilities. The Indo Raptor is clearly statted up though, so he's sitting at 900 health with 800 stamina right off the get-go, and these are significantly tougher, and it looks tougher. It's considerably bigger. It looks a lot tougher and meaner. So yeah, I mean, this is just a few of the different types of raptors that you're going to see out here. So let's go to the other, obviously the other staple of the Jurassic Park universe, and this is the T-Rex. So they have the regular T-Rex Arc Rex on the left-hand side and the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex on the right-hand side. And it's nice because if you just have a regular spyglass and you're out here and spyglass these guys, it will tell you what they are. Like if you spyglass him, it will say an Isla Nublar Velociraptor or a Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus. So if you're specifically looking for Jurassic Park creatures and you're not necessarily sure from a distance which one it is, you can spyglass it and it will tell you. But Rex, Jurassic Park Rex, same saddle, clearly one is bigger than the other. The Jurassic Park Rex definitely sits higher. Its head doesn't sit quite as low. It's definitely more upright. I mean, as much as I like the Arc T-Rex sculpt, I'll be honest, I kind of like the Jaypee Arc sculpt better. I kind of do. It's definitely more of a natural T-Rex look. It also looks like on our, we're running this on our PvE server on Valguero, and this is currently being recorded during the Easter event, and it looks like the Jaypee dinos do get some of the Easter colors periodically as well, so you can get some cool colors with them. But this is like huge, like huge difference between these two, right? Like the Jurassic Park T-Rex is definitely larger. So the Jurassic Park T-Rex was sitting at like 1700 health, 800 stam, where This guy is only 1100 and 420 stand. And this natural melee of this guy is higher than this guy, much like these raptors. The natural damage of these guys is going to be higher than these guys. So even though the percentage stat might be different, these guys are going to do more damage than a typical raptor will. On the normal Rex, we could always do this roar, which kind of stutters dinos for a second. That's really it. Maybe now and then they might poop when you make them do it. But the roar from this one, that roar will actually dismount you. Like if I'm on a mount near this guy and he hollers at me, it's dismounted me and thrown me off. So the roar is definitely different. He does more melee damage. They're just nastier, all around nastier. And again, there's a couple different versions of these T-Rexes. Mainly they're world bosses, and we'll see those floating around in the wild. So let's talk about taming. So most of the taming is the same. You knock them out and you feed them. However, they do work. Some of them work off the old kibble systems. And then some of them, obviously, you just feed them, you know, like mutton or measure berries or vegetables or whatever, and that'll tame them too. But if you're looking for the kibble solution, a lot of it is some of the older kibbles, the old kibble system. The other thing to note is that some of these newer creatures that are going to be in here lay their own eggs, so you'll need their eggs to make certain kibble as well. So this is just 2 out of the well over 100 different animals that are associated. Well, I guess that's 4 out of the well over 100 animals that are associated out here. Most of it's reptilian, like dinosaur-ish, what you would typically expect from a dinosaur. You will see some mammalian-looking creatures, and then definitely some stuff in the ocean that's a little bit better. So let's take a second to go over some of the weapons. So there's a long list of weapons that got added in this and equipment that you can use. So we're going to start at my toolbar from the bottom left and go towards the right. So the first one is this hunting crossbow that fires metal arrows, and it has a scope attachment, so you can aim with it, and that's a pretty awesome scope. And it does considerably more damage than like a compound bow with metal arrows or even a regular crossbow would. This is awesome, and the fact that I have a scope on it makes this so much better too. Fires just like it normally would. Fires out just like it normally would. It's pretty what you would expect out of the normal crossbow. It's basically, it handles just like the normal crossbow, you just have a scope on it. Next up is our M4, which looks more like an M16. I don't know what I call it, an M4. Well, I don't know. A little bit of, can't really tell from the back end. I'm not an amazing firearms expert anyway. Anywho, it takes the assault rifle ammunition. It's full auto just like the assault rifle, but the recoil is like, look at this, like hip fire recoil is insane on this. That's nuts. It has a built-in, you can't really see it here, but there we go. So it has a built-in flashlight that's on it as well. And double tapping whatever reload key is will make that happen. You have the iron sights on here, which are pretty decent, I think. I like them. All around, pretty good. Does more damage than the assault rifle does. I like it. Next up, and a lot of these look the same, but they are different. But next up is the Jurassic Park Tranquilizer rifle. So it's got this awesome green hollow sight going on, which kind of works like a scope as well. Yeah, it's like a little bit of magnification. Not terribly a lot, but a little bit. So this thing is a semi-automatic dart rifle. It uses its own style of darts, but the torpor that these things pump out is a lot better. And like I said, you got 10 round mags, semi-auto, so you can put darts into things a lot quicker, which is good because the other thing I wanted to talk about is these creatures. Any Jurassic Park creature's torpor, their torpor is substantially higher than that of normal creatures that we're usually seeing. So you're going to want this rifle. Absolutely. Next up on the list is the machine gun. The machine gun takes its own machine gun rounds that kind of look like advanced sniper bullets, like the same kind of silhouette, or the Ingram picture rather, but it's a slow firing machine gun. Reloading this thing is a little weird because when you hit reload, he just looks down and looks up, and then it's reloaded. It's kind of odd that it doesn't have the reload action that some of this other stuff does. Pump action shout. So this isn't pump action. It says pump action. Well, I guess technically it's pump action, but it's basically off of a Spaz design. So it's the Spaz Shotgun from Jurassic Park. And so you're looking at a semi-auto 16 round shotgun before it has to reload. So it's very simple shotgun. Everybody's dizzy, and then it reloads. Now you got the shells reload individually, and they'll pump it back again. You'll have 60 more shots. Let's skip that one and go to the hand cannon. So the hand cannon is essentially going after the Desert Eagle, and this is incredibly powerful. But these things are incredibly They're a hell of a lot tougher, and it actually doesn't seem to kick very much if you just fire. If you keep it slow firing, you can stay on target pretty easy with these things. So, 9-round mags, and definitely tough. So to go back one, this is the tech weapon that got added into this, and this looks like one of our Jaypee creatures up here. But this is the tech shotgun. It has a percentage. It uses element of fire. Oh yeah, it looks like a. What is that? Let's go find out. Come here. What are you? I have invisible on, so you can't see me. I think that's the Carno, or no, that's Jurassic Park Allosaurus. Yeah, that's the Jaypee Allo right there. The Jaypee Allo we just shot with a shotgun. So, definitely tough. I mean, this thing's tough, for sure. But this shotgun, it shoots out a burst. So you saw that, right? You saw that burst that it fires out. So it's kind of like a slug shot tech shotgun more so than anything. But it runs off an element, and each shot will kind of overheat it. So you can't really like fire multiples back to back. You got to wait for it to cool down and then fire the next shot. But yeah, shotgun, pretty neat. As far as little gear options, we have two different options. We have the infrared binoculars that you can craft on that bench, which are pretty cool. These give you your infrared and then also work as a spyglass as well. This is also like a built-in spyglass, and then also like a rangefinder that's built into this thing as well. Speaking of which, this is one of, oh, is that a bunny dodo? Yeah, we got the Easter event running. Yeah, definitely bunny dodo. Anyway, it zooms in and zooms out. So you have plenty of options with that, and yeah, the infrared, I like the option there. So what's next? So next up is the Jaypee smoke grenade. So they'll pop out just like a smoke grenade would, right? But the difference with these things is they'll scare away small creatures actually. So if we land this on a small creature, they should just take off running. Oh, these are Jurassic Park parasaurs, yeah. So let's go ahead and gas these guys, see what happens. Yep, there they go. So it'll scare away all the Jurassic Park creatures. They'll like genuinely try to move away from the smoke. Like they won't go full sprint, but you can see them try to move away from the smoke. The one last weapon we have to talk about, and then one attachment actually we can talk about too. The one last gun is actually the ammo. The ammo that's in this rocket launcher is actually what's so much fun about it. And it's the Jericho Missile. So I think these are like Jaypee trikes here. So you fire this thing, and then you don't aim that far off. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it's basically works as like a cluster grenade, but in rocket form. Like it'll impact, and then blow everything else up around it. But you don't get very many shots before the rocket launcher broke. So I shot one before we started recording. Look at this. Oh God, that's horrible. You're only getting like 4 or 5 shots before the rocket launcher actually breaks. What else do we got? Oh, the scope attachment. So this is a Mark II attachment for scope that you can put on the crossbow or the M4 rifle. So we're going to put it on the M4. And it gives us the scope, which is super useful because, yeah, scope. So a lot of new weapons that do a lot of cool things. A lot of building things that could potentially do some cool things. I have some stuff in here to make. Where's a blue dinosaur clone? There he is. So obviously this takes a while when you queue this up, so don't expect these to run super duper fast. But we'll get the blue Raptor clone in here and then see what the Raptor clone does. We got the clone. Now this is going to be wild, so I'm going to pull it away from this stuff. And I don't know, maybe drop it over here somewhere? Drop it over here somewhere. So blue Raptor clone. Now I have admin codes on because I want to be able to see this thing. Oh, is this it? There he is. There she is. There's blue. So it summons it nearby, and you could go out and tame this thing. Now we could try the rifle. Lord knows how many shots we're gonna have to use to tame this thing though. Oh, nope, there you go. It is out cold, level 39. That's neat. So you can actually get a lot of neat critters this way. And there's an Indominus Rex in here. There is a slew load of clone options that you can make to make your own But really, that's it, guys. That's this mod in and of itself. And I could go over every creature that's on this list, and it would be a huge, long list of creatures that are on here and bosses that are on here. But we would take forever doing it. And we would take forever doing it. And I don't want to. But a really, really fun mod. It's done really, 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 really well. Pros and cons, right? Good and bads. The goods, more animals to tame, more animals to mess with. Even if they're resculpted, they have new abilities. They're not necessarily the same thing. So this is a mod that can bring maps that might be boring to you or that you've played a lot, can bring more interest to it, because now you've changed all the wildlife on the map essentially. So that'll be some cool stuff. All the new weapon additions, I like them. I like all the different weapons. I like being more options is always a good thing whenever you're playing really anything. So the more options is definitely a plus. Yeah, I mean, being able to get some of the iconic, being able to have the Raptor Blue from in there. We have an Indominus Rex, Carno Raptor, Dinocanus, Indo Raptor clone, the Stegoceratops, Soprano Titan, Colosaur. Oh, good lord, I'm gonna slaughter every single one of these. But anyway, there's a long list of different ones that you can actually create too, which I dig. I think mods like this are perfect for the mid to late game players. And if people have been playing Ark for a long time and looking for something different, I think this is perfect for it too. Or if you're just a huge fan of Jurassic Park, like you probably are if you're playing this game already, I mean, this is definitely the mod for you. Yeah, it stacks really well with a couple of other mods. The only thing that I noticed, and it very well could be I don't think it's the service provider that I'm using from our servers, but maybe it is. There are certain mods that either that mod doesn't like this mod or this mod doesn't like that mod, and we had a couple of things crapping out on us that we had to change. But once I removed those mods, we were good, and we were able to use the Jaypee with no issues. It seems to be so far no issues. Sometimes the creatures that I mentioned that kind of fake dead with you, like you knock them out and they get right back up, they're only supposed to do that a few times, I believe. And I've had some of them that I've probably knocked them out maybe 15 times and they kept waking up. So it seems like sometimes it might not work the way it's supposed to. But other than that, that's really my only gripes would be those two, which really aren't major. In the grand scheme of things, considering what this mod is and what it brings, what it offers, whatever, the amount of work that went into this, like really, if those are the only two things I have to complain about, then clearly I'm looking for something to complain about. It's really not that bad. I think it's awesome. But that's about it, guys. That's about all I got. I just wanted to kind of go over this mod review. I'm super excited to do it. I'm super excited to play it. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm seeing a lot of other people playing this mod, and I wanted to get in on it. It's been cool. It's really interesting. It has some pros and cons, but on a whole, the pros definitely outweigh the cons per usual that we normally see in these mods for this awesome game. But that's about all I got. Please feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. If there's something specific you want to delve into regarding the Jurassic Park mod, because this is a fairly big thing, please leave something in the comments and we'll take a more in-depth look at it. But also follow me here, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch. We Twitch live stream Friday and Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, but follow me on Twitter definitely, because we do some impromptu streams and I always try to notify everyone on Twitter when we're going to do that. With that being said, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out, and until next time.